Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody out. Hopefully it won't mute you. Andre, if it does, I'll unmute you, and it did. Cool beans. Awesome. All right, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this Friday morning's morning mentorship call. I am your co-host this morning, Sakinah Abdul-Jaleel, coming to you out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and I get to share this platform with you all today with the incomparable Andre English out of Denton, Texas. And so normally this call is done on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays by our powerhouse, power couple, chairmen Randy and Wanda Webb, Chairman 25, Randy and Wanda Webb. However, they are having a birthday holiday celebration at Balenciaga, okay, in Vegas. I know y'all saw them bags, because I was trying to pinch, I was trying to look at, like literally, like I'm so bad, y'all. I was trying to look at, okay, the bag is the creases are unfolded. They got something big in there. I was really looking, you know. I love Balenciaga. Haven't gone there yet, but I love it. But so we're blessed to be able to you know, hop on in here and help with this call today. So we appreciate you guys for hopping on here. And so our topic this morning is going to be about momentum, and I am so jacked. It's one of my favorite subjects of all, and I am excited to hear how Andre's going to open up this call, guys, because y'all know Andre just blows the roof off the sucker, okay? That's from my old school. Y'all young heads, y'all don't even know what that means, where it comes from. But Bathsheba's moving. She like, yeah, I know what that comes from. You know? So we're going to have some fun this morning and bring some value to you guys so that you can, even though this is Friday, which sometimes people look at it as being the end of the work week. No, this is the beginning of our work week today, you know? So Mr. Andre English, please bless the mic.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I am fired up. Let me just tell you, I actually have been fired up for a couple days. And let me tell you why. It's because when we were like, hey, let's go ahead and make sure that Randy and Wanda don't have to, you know, be responsible for this call while they're on vacation. So Sakinah calls me back, and then we're sitting there and we're talking, and like we were just having like a regular like conversation, you know, and I got fired up because literally she's like telling me stories about life, about designing rooms, about flowers, about like all this type of stuff, right? And I promise you, every story that she's telling me is like a metaphor for momentum, right? Like she's just in here just she's just walking around just dropping nuggets. Like that's just a daily thing, like around her house. She's like, here's a nugget for you, like Oprah, right? Like here's a nugget for you, and there's another nugget for you, and there's a nugget for you. And so I came off that call like, man, I'm fired up. I just had my momentum talk right now, right? So I've been excited for days. So anytime I can share the platform with Sakinah, I'm always grateful and humbled to have that opportunity. And because of that, I also know that Sakinah was going to bring the heat. I know that she was going to provide tremendous value for you guys talking about, you know, momentum within this book. And I knew that she was going to be able to do that, not only because she's a great speaker, not only because she's eloquent, but because she is currently having massive momentum within her business. And so it's always amazing when you can speak from a standpoint on a topic when you are actually engaged in that topic, right? When that topic is actually happening to you. And so I knew I couldn't just come today and just go off the top of my head. Like last time we were here, like literally that was just off the top of my head. So I had to prepare myself a little bit for Sakinah today, because I know the back end of this call is going to be so hot. I'm going to have notes. I'm going to be ready to rock and roll. So I had to come with some notes for what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. And so if we're going to talk about momentum, I want to do sort of two things, okay? I want to talk about it from the standpoint of maybe this book, but also more importantly, from the standpoint of the business. Now, everything that I'm going to talk about here on the business side, you could probably relate it to the trader side, but right now I'm actually talking about the building side of things. Building momentum, right? As a trader, you can build momentum through developing consistency, by making sure that you go into the academy, by making sure that you're actually studying and actually showing up for yourself, right? You can build that, but but let's talk over here. Let's bring this over here to building momentum within the team. And so all of us who are builders, how many of y'all would agree? How many of y'all would agree that you would love to have group momentum, team momentum, right? If you would love to have some team momentum, throw some ones in the chat. Like if you would love to be able to see your team and there's duplication setting in, and there's, you know, there's all kinds of people showing the plan, and you know, people are buying you know, function tickets to come to the events, and you got momentum on the team, right? We all want that, okay? We all want that. But let me tell you that there's actually a secret to developing it, okay? Would y'all like to know that secret today? Because there's a secret to developing it. There's a secret to momentum. All the great leaders know this. Sakinah knows it, okay? Randy and Wanda know it. Nafis knows it. Dr. Jewel Tankard in China and Bentley, all of them, they all know this secret. And a lot of times we actually don't know it. See, momentum and the business, it has cheat codes. Y'all ever remember playing, I'm gonna show my age, but like you play like Nintendo, right? And you would play like Super Mario Brothers, but like if you knew the code beforehand, like you could go like X, X, Y, backspace, blah, 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 and do all these different things, and all of a sudden you would get like 100 lives, and you would get all this stuff, so it made the game really easy. Or you would have a secret level where you could go and get all kinds of money and whatever, right? There's cheat codes to this thing, right? To this building thing, to this momentum thing. And what I want to talk to you about is a cheat code, but it's not something that is esoteric. It's something that we can all grab a hold of, that we can all use, okay? So here's what it is, right? When we talk about momentum, Eric Worre talks about this all the time, right? He'll tell you all the time, he out of all the thousands of leaders that he's interviewed, of all the top earners, the $1 million earners, there's always a common theme. And that common theme is, if you want the cheat code, if you want group momentum, if you want to be able to have your business on autopilot, what it takes is for you to first develop personal momentum. Personal momentum always precedes group momentum. Personal momentum always precedes group momentum. So let's define personal momentum. What is personal momentum? I can define it in one word: with. See, your personal momentum is you going out and building with in your business. What does that mean? That means you personally enrolling customers. You personally enrolling customers creates with. We have a unilevel comp plan, correct? Which means you continue to put in your personal with, and that with leads to profitability. With always equals profitability. How many of y'all want to have a profitable business? You have to go wide. You have to go wide. And the with takes personal momentum. It takes your effort to go out there and decide that you're going to go out and get some customers for your business. And as you create with, you're more profitable. Now listen, group momentum will eventually kick in, and group momentum equals depth, and depth equals stability for your business. That's walkaway income. But you can never get to walkaway income if you've never created personal income and put in the with, okay? So listen, I just want you guys to understand that, because when you understand what's going on for your business, you become the mold. I've heard Sakinah talk about this. You are the mold. You are the mold for your business. You are the blueprint. You are what is being duplicated. So if you are having a problem with your business and it's being stagnant, that means that you probably have duplicated stagnant momentum, right? That probably means that you haven't gone out and made the sacrifice to get the personal with, right? So with is important. It's developing your personal momentum. It is what is going to be duplicated throughout your organization. Now, when creating personal momentum, a lot of us are guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. How many of us have got really excited, right? And by the way, I'm just giving y'all the background, because in a second, I'm about to lay the hammer on y'all, okay? So just give me a second. How many of y'all How many of y'all have gotten excited when you first got started and you did your first home meeting and you invited 15 people and 6 showed up, and all of a sudden you sponsored your first 3 on like the first night, okay? And you went out and you got a little bit of personal momentum going. You did a few of the things that were necessary, but all of a sudden you got 3 people and you went into manager mode. Anybody ever done that? Y'all ever done that? Y'all got, because the compensation plan said if you get 3 and they get 3 and you, so you like, shoot, I did my part. I got my 3, right? Y'all ever done that? I can't be the only one, right? And so what happens is you go into manager mode, okay? That right there, that hurts. And so then maybe we grow a team to 12. And how many of y'all ever done this? I've done this. How many of y'all ever done this? Ready? You grow a team to 12, and all of a sudden you start talking about my team. I'm a P600, my team. You ever done that? Nah, folks, that ain't your team. That's Randy and Wanda's team. You a P600, right? You haven't gone out and earned enough personal momentum to be able to create something that's even duplicatable for your team, okay? So these are some of the things that are gonna kill your momentum that I wanna kind of highlight as we talk here, all right? So what is your goal in going out to create personal momentum? Your goal is simple. What you're trying to do is go out and create a mess. What you're trying to do is go out and create crazy volume. What you're trying to do is go out and create crazy personals. Now, let me tell you something. I would rather, Orlandria, if you were on my team, I would rather do a meeting in depth for you because depth creates stability. But if you're not willing to do a meeting tonight, then I'm going to do a meeting for me. Does that make sense? I would rather, Jennifer, be able to go out and do a meeting in depth for you. But if you're not willing to have a meeting, then I'm going to do a meeting for myself, right? I'm going to create the personal momentum. Randy told me that it's a race to 40 customers. That's chairman. You need 40 personal customers to go chairman. That's what he told me, right? He's chairman 25, so I figure it's right. So if we're sitting around and we got 4 customers and we wondering why we at P600 and stuck, that means because we haven't gone out and gotten our personal momentum. We went into manager mode, and not one person on your team signed up to be managed by you. Not one, right? Y'all ever know the greatest, this might offend some people, I'm sorry, but y'all ever know like the greatest network marketing team ever was like Jesus and the disciples, right? And then I want you to understand the pattern of what our business is built off of. Jesus had a vision. He went out and found 12 people who believed like him. How many Christians are there today? Right? How many Christians are there today? Now, here's the thing. The only reason it worked is because none of those disciples, none of those people were Christians for Jesus. They were Christians for their own salvation. See, the only way this business works is if when your people come on, they're not there for you. They're there for their own goals, aspirations, and dreams. And if you don't recognize that because you're in manager mode, your people ain't going to stick with you. Your business ain't going to grow, right? And so what we need to do is we need to create an environment where you're out there leading the way, creating personal momentum, creating a mess. Because when you go out there and you get wide, the ability for you to find places to work depth will automatically come. But when you're trying to force depth on someone, oh my God, what a miserable place to be. You're probably a miserable upline. You understand what I'm saying? You're probably you ever want to know why people don't pick up your phone call? It's because you ain't wide enough. And so the people feel like you need them to do something for you rather than for them. See, when Sakinah picks up the phone and calls someone and she says, hey, listen, I need you to do this, more than likely it's so that they can grow their own business. They know that Sakinah has their best interest at heart because Sakinah's got enough width that she doesn't have to be in manager mode, right? Nafis got enough width in Canada where he didn't have to manage a small flock of 12 people. He could let that thing go and he could take over Canada. Randy and Wanda, you've heard them tell stories. They used to have 500 people on their Zoom presentations in the first month. They went out and got enough width where they can allow the people to identify themselves that allowed them to create places to work depth. If we don't have enough width, if we never develop enough personal momentum in our business, we're stuck, right? How many of y'all understand that being stuck at P600 or P1000 or P2000, it sucks, right? And what it simply means is me, Andre English, just didn't go out and get enough personal momentum. I didn't go out and create enough width. See, if you sponsor 3 or 4 people, you're probably stuck at P150. If you sponsor 12 people personally, you're probably stuck at P600, right? You've got to go out and get enough width that allows you to find places to work depth. And when you can find places to work depth, now you can create taproot. Now you can create momentum, okay? So, the reason why you want to do that, folks, is because if you're sitting here today and you're a P600, you're a P1000, whatever, and you're waiting for someone to go P600 so that you can move to P1000, or you're waiting for someone on your team to go P1000 so that you can move to P2000, what a horrible place to be in your business. What a horrible place to be, because you have now surrendered your business over to your downline. What if your downline never wants to go to the next rank? Are you going to stay stuck forever at the rank you're currently at? I don't want to be in that. You'll be a miserable upline. What if they never want to grow? You call them every day because your downline is looking. Hey, listen, when you set someone up for the first meeting, the GSR, the Getting Started Right meeting, the first time they're willing to say, and you say, make your list. They're willing to say that, and you say, make some calls. They're willing to take your lead. But about the 5th time you come to them talking about your list and making calls, and you ain't making no damn calls, they looking at you like, hey, what's the problem? What's the problem? Right? Am I right? That's exactly right. How many of y'all done that to your own upline when you looking like, man, you call me all the time for something. How come you ain't doing this? Right? But then you duplicated it. Why? Because that was the model that was duplicated to you. See, when you create momentum, momentum says that an object in motion, right? If it's in motion, the only way you can stop it from being in motion is if an equal or greater force stops it and sends it into the other motion. Momentum works both ways, folks. Some of us have couch momentum, and it's real hard to get off of it. It's real hard. Some of us got Xbox momentum. It's real hard to stop gaming. Some of us got some BS momentum, right? I just heard Brandon Thompson, and he was talking about when he went home, and he went home to see one of his friends in Houston, and this is one of his best friends. He said it was a friend that he thought he would be best friends with for life. And he said that his mom was similar to his mom, that when he came over to the house, she treated him just like his son, his son. And he went home and he said, hey, we haven't caught up in a while. We've gotten a little far apart, but we haven't seen each other in a while. What are all these boxes doing in your house? And he said, oh, my mom's on dialysis. I didn't tell you. He said, dialysis? He said, yeah, she needs these boxes here. And so he said he continued to hang out with his friend for the day. At the end of the day, he told his friend, bro, I got to tell you something. You don't love your mother. And his friend was like, what are you talking about? Indignant. What you talking about? I don't love my mother. Your mother's on dialysis and you over here still playing games. You still on Xbox. You still selling $5 bags of weed. You 30 years old talking about you gonna be a rapper. You're doing all these things and your mom is on dialysis and you haven't changed anything. Well, guess what? It might not be your mom on dialysis, but it might be your kids looking at you when you told them that you was gonna do something. It might be your wife looking at you when you told her that things was gonna change and you were gonna be able to do this. And they looking at you and they realize that your momentum is not personal momentum, it's couch momentum. And so what I want y'all to be able to do is be able to understand that momentum works both ways. And just as it's hard to break momentum once you have it, it's hard to get started because the negative momentum is inertia that's blocking you. And you have to be able to push through in order to get there. You have to be able to push through in order to get there. Now, I'm going to take it to you some examples that y'all understand, because we're all here in a company to learn how to trade. And so I want you guys to understand, and this is where it's going to get good, because you guys are going to be able to recognize, you're going to be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, let me ask y'all something. What's an impulse? An impulse is a launch, right? It is a launch in the market. All of a sudden, the market is going one way, and all of a sudden it impulses, or it's consolidating, and there's a massive move. There's a massive break, either up or down, of serious momentum. It is a violent jolt in the market. It is a burst of momentum. It is a launch, if you will, of that particular candlestick as it continues to go up. And what it means, folks, and this is important, is that the market made a decision. The market made a decision about what was going to happen. And so all of a sudden you have this huge impulsive movement, right? You have this huge impulsive movement. Now, what's important about this momentum play is that I want y'all to understand something, okay? I want y'all to understand something. The bigger the impulse, the more momentum that is created at that launch of that impulse, the higher that impulse goes, if we're talking about a bullish impulse, right? The higher that it goes, the more pullback it can withstand. I want you to understand that. The higher that the momentum launches, the more pullback that it can withstand. Because we all know, right? We go into impulse, pullback, continuation, right? So the higher that you impulse, the more pullback that you can withstand before the continuation happens. In our example, and we're talking about our business, what do we have? We have impulse. You got your personal momentum. You impulse. You launched your business. All of a sudden, crap of life happens. But before the crap of life happens, all of a sudden, a couple people began to duplicate what happens and began to duplicate you, began to get momentum on their own. And so when the pullback happens, you can absorb a long pullback, but eventually the duplication sets in and the continuation is your group momentum, right? And so what I got you to understand is that you've got to be willing to go out and get your personal momentum so that you can launch your business for real. See, what happens? What happens if you have a small impulse? What happens if you have a 4 to 6 person impulse? I sponsored 4 to 6 people and brought them into the company. I went 5 or 6 wide. I maybe got 8 or 9. What happens when you have a small impulse? What happens in the market? You have a small impulse, and then the pullback can lead to a trend change, and you're back on your couch developing couch momentum. You've given up on your dream, talking about IM doesn't work. Trading doesn't work. It's because you never launched your business in the first place. It's because you never launched your trading career in the first place. You never went out and got the personal momentum that's necessary to withstand the pullbacks of life, right? And so I want you to understand that we've got to go out and we've got to develop that. And so the stronger the momentum, the stronger the burst, it will allow you to burst through resistance. The stronger your impulse, the stronger your launch, the stronger your personal momentum, it will allow you to burst through what? Resistance, or the ceiling that you will, that thing that is blocking you in life. See, these are all metaphors, right? You have something blocking you. You have something that's holding you back mentally, whatever it is. There's something in the way, and you've got to burst through it, right? You've got to burst through it. So you need momentum. Momentum takes a decision in order for you to make a decision to go in that direction. So what happens though? What happens, folks? What happens? What happens to resistance in the market when you burst through it? What does resistance become once you've gone through it? Resistance becomes support. The ceiling becomes the floor. Now, all of a sudden, you burst through, just like Randy and Wanda said, I went Chairman 25. I can never go back to Chairman 10 income. That's now, Chairman 25 is now my floor. I've burst through. The same thing happens here. You burst through whatever that obstacle is in your life, whatever's preventing you from building the business. You go out and get some personal momentum and you burst through it. And all of a sudden that obstacle is now your floor. All of a sudden you went through the resistance and it became support. I'm going to tell you something. That's also your wife. That's also your husband. That's also your family. That's also the negative people in your life. See, the problem is you never developed enough personal momentum for them to believe that they could become your support. But when you went through the obstacle, when you became an overcomer and you said, hey, listen, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I believe in. There's nothing that you can do. You cannot cut me out with a chainsaw. I am here and I am going to build this. I am going to do something. All of a sudden, your sheer force of will, your sheer force of momentum turns your naysayers into support. That's what happens, folks. That's what happens. When you go through the resistance, it becomes support. Y'all understand what a moving average is? Y'all understand what a moving average is? Y'all use any of those indicators, the 50, the 200, the 800 moving average, things of those nature, right? The moving average, what is it? It's a buff support and resistance line. And the higher the moving average, the harder it is to move through it, right? You ever notice that when price touches the 200, it usually goes right back down. It said, nah, I don't want no part of that, right? When price touches the 800, it goes back the other way. Nah, I don't want no part of that either, right? It's a buff support and resistance line. But you all notice this also, right? Is that the 200 on the 1 minute candle, on the 1 minute chart, isn't as strong as the 200 on the 15-minute chart. And the 15-minute 200 isn't as strong as the 1 hour 200, right? And the 1 hour 200 isn't as strong as the daily 200. Why is that? Why is that? Well, see, what happens, folks, is that each candle, so we go to the 15-minute candle, what is it composed of? It's composed of 15 1-minute candles. And it's composed of all the volatility within each of those candles, right? And so what happens is there's market ups and there's downs and there's indecisions and there's all kinds of stuff. And what happened is in order for the 15-minute candle to stay in momentum, it had to overcome all those 1-minute candles of life. The same thing happens for you. In order for you to build a little momentum, to get a little stronger, to move your moving average so that it's tougher, so that your floor becomes stronger, you have to go ahead and break it down. Maybe it's picking up the phone call on the 1-minute candle. That's a challenge. And you had to do that over and over and over again in order to the point that you said, listen, I will not let you defeat me, phone. I know you weigh 2,000 pounds right now. It's the first time I pick you up. But I'm not going to let you defeat me. I'm going to continue to move and move and move. And all of a sudden, boom, now you got momentum on the 15-minute candle. And all of a sudden, it continues and continues and continues. Same thing for the hour candle. Same thing for the 4-hour candle. They're all composed of minor little candles, smaller moments of time where you had the choice whether or not to continue your momentum, right? Where you had the choice whether or not to let the momentum stop. So, what I want you to understand, folks, is that the longer you hold momentum, the stronger it gets, just like your moving averages. The moving average is stronger on the 4-hour time frame than it is on the 1 minute. The longer you can stay in personal momentum. So what does that mean? That means that if you're not in momentum right now, it's okay. This isn't judgment. I had to go back and get in momentum myself. I had to realize where I was myself and say, listen, I've been stuck at this rank way too long. Why is it the case? It's because I haven't gone out and got enough personal momentum. I'm trying to raise the dead when it's easier to birth a new baby, right? And so what I had to do is just go out and say, I need to go get some more momentum, some more life. And if you're on my team, I'm not calling you dead. Don't have a heart attack. I'm just using it as a metaphor here, right? Like, I love you, I promise, right? And so I had to realize I had to go out and get some more people into the business. And now all of a sudden we've got momentum percolating. And so now the thing is that Randy and Wanda, they talk to us about being in an IPA, right? Income producing activities. I call that the creative stage. You always want to be in the creative stage. You always want to be adding another log to the fire. You always want to be stoking it. You always want to have things going so that you can maintain that personal momentum in order to go ahead and be in momentum longer so that your floor becomes thicker. It's harder to break through. Just like we have had lazy momentum for a long time. and it becomes harder to break through. The more days we go, y'all ever used to go to service all the time? Go to church all the time, mosque, whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden you miss 2 weeks? It's real hard to get up that next week, right? And then you miss more. And the longer you miss, the more times you go without going to church, the harder it is to get up and actually go. The same thing happens. The more times you miss morning mentorship, the harder it is to get up. The more times you miss your trading session for London, the harder it is to get up. And it's not just that the days got harder, it's that psychologically you've developed the habit, you've developed counter momentum to your goal. And so it's going to take great inertia. It's going to take something great in order to stop it and move it in the other direction. And that greatness is your decision. All right? All right. So what is personal momentum? It's belief times faith divided by action. Simple. Personal momentum is belief times faith divided by action. And more importantly, personal momentum is evidence of a dream in action. Personal momentum is evidence of your dream in action. You are in active pursuit. It's evidence that says that you have a dream. Okay? No personal momentum is evidence that your dream has been deferred. Okay? That you no longer, if you don't have personal momentum, it's evidence, it's residue of the fact that you've given up on your dream. Right? And so you want to go out and make sure that you're continuing to focus on building some personal momentum towards your dream. He talks about it in the book, right? When he says, when he was 14 years old and had a lemonade stand or whatever it was that he was going to fix computers, right? He was going to be able to fix computers, and he didn't even know how to fix a computer, but he heard that there was a need for the market. And so he found his best friend or one of his good buddies that he knew how to fix computers. He said, "We in business together." And then all of a sudden he said, "I didn't even know how to go out and get clients, but I called and I figured if I could get an ad in the paper." And he got an ad in the paper by accident, right? But what it was, all of a sudden there was customers coming. And all of a sudden the parents shut it down. Like, wait, what's going on, right? This ain't supposed to be happening, right? The parents shut down the business, but he said that what he learned was the lesson of taking action. In order to create momentum, you have to take action. I've said it all the time, folks, that the wealthiest place on earth is not Dubai. It's not the Rothschild Money Trust Fund. It's not all those things. It's not between your mind. But the wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery. Because in the cemetery is where all of those dreams got deferred, where all of those ideas got deferred, where all of those things that could have been world changers and passion plays and the things that could have made a difference in people's lives got deferred because someone did not develop personal momentum. All right? So I'm almost done, and because I want you guys to be able to hear from Sakinah, all right? And so I just want you guys to know that I want you to be able to catapult, to launch your business, not start a business. In the book, he talks about the word catapult. You have to launch, you have to catapult your business into play. You have to catapult your trading career. You have to go all in order to make it happen. You've got to launch it. And the thing about it that's great is that in the book, when he was 15 years old, he didn't have a blueprint, but we do. See, Legacy Worldwide already has a blueprint when you launch your business. You don't have to try to figure it out. There's already a game plan. We already have a model that's duplicatable for success. Our upline already is in personal momentum still to this day. We have a model that we can follow. We have a system that we can follow. And if you will just plug in and stay plugged in over a long period of time, right? What will happen is that the system, the business, the team will provide the energy needed for you to lift your business off, for you to take it into orbit, for you to catapult your business, for you to launch it to where it needs to go. But when you unplug from the power source, what happens to anything? It gets turned off. And so what I'm telling you guys right now, if you want to stay in personal momentum, you need to be on calls like this. You need to be listening to Sakinah. You need to be listening to Nafis. You need to be listening to these people. You need to stay plugged into the team meetings. I know it's a lot. I know sometimes we don't get the flyer until an hour before. I know sometimes we don't get noticed. I know sometimes it can be annoying, but so is your job. I know sometimes your boss comes to you and gives you plop something on your desk when you didn't have plans to do that day, and you don't look at them like they're crazy. You don't go in there and talk about, we got to change something. This whole thing got to be fixed. You don't do any of that type of stuff. But what I'm telling you is right now you got job momentum, and we want to help you get freedom momentum. And so you have to be plugged into the freedom team, the legacy team. We want you to have legacy momentum. And that involves developing your personal momentum, staying plugged in, and working with what we got. And so at the end, I have a personal message that I want to deliver to y'all that take 1 minute. But what I want to do is I want to turn it back over to Ms. Sakinah. Sakinah, thank you so much, because I already know in advance that you're about to crush this. I thank you for the small window of opportunity I had to just say a few little things and talk about momentum, but I'm turning it back over to you.
Man, I literally have notes and notes and notes. I'm like, oh my God, like you hit me when you said couch momentum. I'm like, oh, shut up. I was ready to throw my phone across the room. I'm like, that is so, like, there's so much. Y'all throw some sevens in the chat for what Andre just gave you. If y'all picked out what that brother put down, y'all better blow that chat room up. Like, he's so right on point, so right on target, and as we get ready to wrap this up, it's so true that your personal momentum begins with you. That's the best momentum to have. And, this is my third network marketing company. And so let me say this before I go into this a little bit. A lot of times people get on these calls or don't get on these calls, because we've got about 46 people on this call right now. And each of us, we have teams, we have groups of people. I love what you said about that too. But there's way more people than this, obviously, in Legacy Worldwide. And so sometimes people count themselves out because they'll say, oh, all they do is focus on the building. All they do is focus on the building. Sometimes you hear that mumbling in group texts and chats, and maybe in some of your personal conversations with some of your fellow teammates. The craziest thing to me is this, I Am Academy is designed for traders, students, people that want to become traders. If you are a customer, you are a student who is learning to become a trader. That academy is at your beck and call. That the 100+ educators are there to teach you how to trade. Every single aspect of that academy is to help you learn how to trade. There is nothing in that academy that is geared towards builders. So when I hear, or if you hear someone saying, oh, they're only talking about trading, you better think again, and you tell them to think again, because if your mindset is not right, your trading is going to go south. You may hit a lick here and there. You may get a little something here. You may get a little something there, but you ain't going to keep it, because it's your mindset. And the reason that you're not going to keep it is because you're not plugging in, and because you're complaining and you're finding things that are the negative. So that's not what we're about. That's not what this academy is about. And everybody that you need to make sure that they are on these mentorship calls. Now, I know people have to work. We can look on the screen and see that people are getting it done. Some people have that type of job where they can still get on and still, work their job. I'm not talking about somebody who's not allowed to have their phones and things like this. But you all know people, and I want you to make it your mission to make sure that you have 5 to 10 people more on this call that is on your team on Monday. And let them understand that this mindset mentorship is to help them take their life to a whole different level, whether they're working a job, whether they're trading, whether they're building, whether they're counting their toes at night. It's going to make them be a better toe counter, okay? So I don't know why I said that, but that's what I said, toe counter, okay? So I want to get that out there, because sometimes I'll hear things like that. And, Andre, you really did just crush it, because he literally laid out for you and us that, personal momentum is the best momentum. And when you talked about having, when you say somebody's got 4 or 5 people, or they signed up, they got 6 or 7 personals, and they're like, my team, like in my other company, my mentor there, I remember, I never will forget, y'all heard me tell this story before. I was working 12 to 15 hours a day. I would come home literally when I started that company, when I started building that company, and I was showing presentations at my house every single day, 7 days, 7 days. I worked 7 days a week for my job. I showed presentation every single night, 7 days a week, no days. It didn't matter what holiday. It didn't matter if I was sick. It just didn't matter. I became obsessed, and I'm gonna tell you about the benefits of that in a second. And so, I'm putting people in. I probably had, I don't know, 12 or 15 people. No, I had 20. I had 20 because you had to do that in order to get the car bonus, right? So I'm like, feeling good. And so my $1 million mentor came. And so we're having breakfast the next morning after a great event. And I'm saying something. I'm like, yeah, my team. And he was like, actually, I'm wrong. I didn't have 20 people. You had to have 20 people all together. So I had maybe 8 to 12. And so he said, your team. And I'm like, yeah, my team, I'm working my butt off, every single day, no days off. That was my motto, no days off. And so he said, how many personals you have? And I was like, whatever the number was, 8, 12, something like that. He was like, oh, you mean your group? And I was like, what? My group? Like, what? He said, your group. If you ain't got 30 personals, you can't come talking about you got a team. And I was just like, but I'm all cool and calm and collected. And I was offended. I really was offended, but I'm listening to a millionaire mentor, so I could be offended all I want to. I didn't have what he had. So I had to just, lick my tail and stick it between my legs and just go, okay, let me try to figure out what it is he's talking about. You know what I mean? And so I said, lick my tail. That's so funny. But I said, what the heck? What the heck is he talking about? So I went and got 30 personals, and I understood what he was talking about. And it's right on point with what Andre was saying. You get in that management mode. You start telling yourself, because who we are is not based on the things that we do. Who we are is based on the things that we say, the words that come out of our mouth, the words that feed into our head. So we can do all these things, but it's those words that we're saying. And I was saying, my team, my team, my team. And I'd gone in a management mode and didn't even recognize it. So here, you got to understand, you've got to have that group. You've got to build, in order to have that group momentum, just like what Andre said, you got to build personal momentum. And sometimes people are like, they get fooled by it. They get fooled thinking, oh, this person put in somebody, that person put in somebody. Oh, I had 4 people that put in somebody this week, and they think that's team momentum. It ain't even close. It's not even close. So here's what I challenge you guys to do. If you think about this for a second, when you're creating personal momentum, it means going fast. It doesn't mean going slow. Okay. I'm telling you from experience, I have 60 personals in I Am Academy, 60. All right. 60, but I put in 60 personals slow. I've been in for 2.5 years. I did not even start really focusing on building until after being in here about a year. Where I'm saying mentally, I was putting in some people here and there. I didn't become an IBO for a while. I was probably one of Randy and Wanda's most uncoachable people that there were. I was so stuck in my head. I really was. My belief wasn't there. It wasn't that I doubted the company. I could see the trading. I could see the educators. I was focused on that. But my belief had to come from within, not from without. So I'm telling you, when you start really putting people in fast, and you do have to have some obsession, like I said, I'm gonna hit on that later. So here's what I challenge you guys to do, and I'm looking at my notes, okay? What if you just said, you know what? I'm gonna believe what Andre is saying. I'm gonna believe what Sakinah is saying. I'm gonna believe what Randy and Wanda have been saying. And I'm going to just do this. I'm going to borrow their belief that they have in me until I get enough of my own belief in myself. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ham. I'm going to just go crazy. What if you put 30 personals in the next 30 days? What if you did that? What would that look like? And some of y'all are going to scoff at that, like she done lost her ever-loving mind. 30 personals in 30 days. I got to work. I got 2 jobs. I got 10 kids. I got 4 different baby daddies. I got a husband. I got 4 jobs. You got all kinds of stuff. Chairman Chuck, quit laughing. You know, we got all kinds of stuff we can make up in our heads. And I'm not saying that you don't have these circumstances and these situations, but let me ask you this for a second, because I actually wrote this out. So what if, before you count yourself out of this, okay, keep in mind that most of you are working a job full time and you're willing to work 60 to 80 hours, or you got your own traditional business and you humping. You working 40, 50, 60, 80 hours on that job or on that business, you know, it's fair to say. So you're taking a big chunk away from your family, right? And from your life. But here's the other thing. You're planning on doing that for the next 10, 15, 20 years, some of you, depending on your age. You're counting down the days to retirement. You doing the calculations. If I get one more year in, or 5 more years in, or 10 more years, or some of you are hoping on your job that you get a $1 raise next year. You hoping to do what you need to do to get that $1, you know, that $1 more hour or whatever. Or you hoping that, you know, if you do the X, Y, and Z, then it's going to bring, you know, A, B, C. So you got these plans for your job or these plans for your traditional business, and you're looking towards your retirement, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. Some of you are doing that. But what if you took, like I said, the next 30 days to send 20 people a day? If you took the next 30 days starting today and send 20 people a day a message, a DM, a phone call, a text message, and all you said was, hey, and I wrote this all out, y'all. Are you wanting to make some more money? What if you just asked that? Are you wanting to make some more money? If you are, I want to connect you with my money coach. Okay? I'm letting everyone that I know about this. So hit me back ASAP if you want to get an online appointment with my money coach. What if you said that? It won't take you but seconds to send that text. What if you send that or something similar? No more than that. Don't go explaining. Don't go talking about what you made or didn't make, or what somebody else made or didn't make in trading. But what if you just simply asked them that and said that? And if you did that for 20 people a day, it would take you less than 5 minutes to send that out to 20 people. And honestly, it may take you a total of 30 minutes because you may get some feedback from that. Somebody may say, you know, hey, yeah, I would. What are you talking about? So that little bit of dialogue could take you a total of 30 minutes a day, okay? Including the time to set up appointments with your money coach. So if you spend 30 minutes a day setting up these appointments and 90 minutes a day on webinars for 2-on-1s, hold on, let me mute out somebody here. And you spend 90 minutes a day on webinars, okay? Because let's say you're getting them on out of 20 people a day, right? You're sending out these text messages. So you're sending out, or you're spending 90 minutes a day on webinars for 2-on-1s. You're only setting up 2-on-1s. So that's, let's say 3 appointments got set up out of every 20 people that you sent that text to every single day. You did it for 30 days straight. That's 60 hours in 1 month, okay? With 1 person out of the 3 on average getting started each day. That means that you would be at a minimum of Platinum 1000 in 30 days. Minimum. So those 2 hours of daily income producing activities just netted you bringing home every single month $1,000 a day for 2 hours. 2 hours. We're not asking you to be the trader. I know you see some people that are, you know, they're teaching people how to trade outside of the academy. That ain't your business. That really shouldn't even be your goal, to tell you the truth. It shouldn't be your goal if you don't have some serious residual income coming in every single month. That shouldn't be your goal. Because if your income, if you're relying your income, if you think you're going to replace your job with your money from your trading, or you think you're going to replace your job by going out here teaching a bunch of people, what happens, may God forbid, if you get sick and you cannot trade? What would happen then? Y'all heard Pam Brown's story? Y'all heard her. Pam Brown has definitely been a 6- or 7-figure trader since being in IM Academy, but she got sick as a dog for 2 months and had to be quarantined for 1 month with 5 kids, and 2 of them are young, special needs kids. And if it wasn't for her residual income, she would have been in some trouble. So what if you built this residual income of bringing home an extra $1,000 every single month? What if you did that? and you did it fast in 30 days, do you know what would happen with your team because they've seen this personal momentum that you went out and created? What if you just did that? Just what if you got that 50% wrong? What if you didn't sign up 30 personals and you got it half wrong? Can you do that on your job? Can you screw up by 50% on your job and still have a job? Nope. You out of there. But you can screw up here by 50% and still make some money. So where does your belief really lie? Is your belief in your job? Like, really ask yourself that. Is your belief in your whatever your traditional business is? And I'm not saying you can't have any belief in that, because that's what you do. There's nothing wrong with having belief in it. But if you have not become obsessed with your goals, you already knocked yourself out of the game. Andre and I can sit on here till the cows come home talking about momentum. You can read every book, you can get on every mentorship call, you can be plugged into everything. But if your belief isn't there, and if you haven't become obsessed with your goals, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. You'll let somebody knock you off your goals. Y'all see me post sometimes where I say, my mission has never changed, my method has changed though. Because I got some flack because I left the other company. See, let me tell you something. I had a conversation with somebody who was also in that other company with me. And we were talking about this not that long ago. And it made me reflect on my time with that company. And I was obsessed. I was obsessed with it, y'all. I loved it. I loved it. And I became obsessed with my goals, so much so that I walked away from a multiple six-figure a year income as an interior designer. I walked away from it. I wasn't making multiple six figures in a network marketing company at that time when I walked away from it. I was obsessed. And then what happened? They stopped paying. They stopped paying residual, but it's okay. You know why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's okay. The benefits that I got from that company and from those experiences far superseded the money. I didn't leave because they stopped paying. I was pissed when they stopped paying, but I didn't leave because they stopped paying. I left because of what I saw was a lack of integrity on the corporate level. Because of my rank, I wasn't at the top of the company, but I had a significant rank and I was a trainer for that company. So I got to see a little peek behind the velvet curtain. And I didn't like what I was seeing on a consistent basis. And I wish them nothing but greatness. And they're still continuing on. And I hope to God that they build that company back up, because I still have friends over there that still believe in that mission with that company. But let me tell you though, from me being obsessed, from me showing people every day, from me showing people it didn't matter what holiday it was for me, from me still showing people, from me, making that sacrifice and being tired as all get out when I got off work, and still coming in and showing, guess what it did? It put my kids on vacations around the world that we would have never had before. We would have never experienced these things before. Every single one of my kids, I had 5, 4 of them earned residual income because of that company. 4 earned residual income. That would have never happened with me still staying stuck on my job. That would have never happened. I remember being in Fiji and finding out through social media that my son and my middle son and my daughter, who were taking a vacation in LA while I went to Fiji, right? I found out that they got bored with LA and they were on a freaking plane hopping to Hawaii. I found that out on social media. I was like, what the hell? But then I was just like, wow, how awesome is that? Because their mama got obsessed. Their mama got obsessed, and that built their belief. Because their mama got obsessed, that built the belief in them. And guess what happened to people on their team? They became obsessed. We have several people that walked away from jobs, several people that replaced their income, several people that made 6 figures for the first time. Why? Because this woman got obsessed. So you have to understand that your obsession is not for you. Your obsession is, yes, we always say this. We say God, family, business, right? We say that. But sometimes you're going to have to flip it when it comes to family and business. Never God. You never compromise on that. But sometimes you got to flip it, because the very same reason that you're stuck sometimes where you are is because you won't flip it. You say you won't get obsessed. You say you won't let it take over your life. Well, guess what? You letting whatever you're doing right now take over your life. See, my kids had what was considered good jobs at the time we were in that company, but their good job wasn't going to let them. One of my sons stayed in Hawaii for a month. This was before the wife and kids. He didn't have those. They weren't even in the picture. Okay. But he stayed in Hawaii for a month because they had a team over there. He was building it and he was chilling. See, it's because of your family. That's why you need to be obsessed. That's why you need to create personal momentum. You ain't got time to play around with this. You ain't got time. I don't care what you're doing, how you're doing it. You ain't got time to play around with this. We got a window of opportunity, y'all. Let me tell you, we got a window of opportunity. Right now, I Am Mastery Academy is not on the lips of every single person, but it will be. It will be. This company is growing faster than anything I've ever seen. Right now, we're bringing in as a company over $40 million a month. Over $40 million a month. And that's not even scraping the surface of what this company is going to do. How much of it do you want? More importantly, how much of it do you want your family to have? What kind of experiences do you want your family to have? So you can't worry about what somebody said. Like, you need to be in your circle, your friends and family need to be like, here she come again, talking about that Forex. You damn right, I'm talking about that Forex. If you're not the Forex chick or the Forex dude, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. You're not. Because I bet you your friends and family know what you do. I bet you they know what type of job you have. See, here's the thing. If you were Venus and Serena Williams, you know what I mean? Back when they were, being, just coming up in the game, or if you were a Beyonce, you bet all their friends and family, or Jay-Z, they're like, oh man, they obsessed, man. Oh, no, don't interrupt them because they're practicing their tennis game. Or if you were going to school to be a medical doctor and you knew you had to be in school for the next 12 years, your friends and family would pat you on the back. You would make time out. No, I can't hang out with you because I got to study. No, don't interrupt my baby. She's in there studying. He's in there studying. You got everybody in the world patting you on the back then because of what you're doing. That's the traditional thing, right? It makes sense to carve out time because you're studying to become a doctor. It makes sense to carve out time because you got to rehearse because you're becoming a singer or a rapper, like legit, okay? It makes sense. But does it make sense to you to carve out that time to go after your dreams because you want to become the person that you were designed to be? Does it make sense? So you can't be scared doing this. And even if you are scared, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Forget what somebody says. Forget what somebody thinks. They ain't paying your damn bills. They ain't going to pay your bills. They're not going to sign up because you become a 7-figure trader. They're lying to you. Well, you go make some money first and then I'll sign up. They're lying to you. They're not going to sign up. And if they do, they're going to turn around and get right back out. Why? Because they're not making 7 figures in trading the next 24 hours, which is what they think they're going to do. I remember in that other company, I hit what was called the car bonus. They used to give you an extra check for a car bonus. So you had to go get a silver BMW. It had to be in your name. You had to meet this criteria, right? And I did it. I did it in my first 30 days. 30, I think so. First 30 days, something like that, right? I went and got a 7 Series BMW. My kids, they didn't know any better. They were like, yeah, now everybody's going to sign up. Really? No, they didn't. At the end of the day, I still had to pay for it, right? So my point is this, is that you have to have a really strong why to go create that momentum. It can't be just because you were on this call and listening to those gems that Andre was dropping. Because once we get off this call, you're going to be right back in your same life right now. You're going to be right back doing what you're doing. You're going to turn your focus onto your job. You're going to turn your focus onto your kids. You're going to turn your focus onto your spouse or whatever. You're going to do all of that. But if your why is big enough, you're going to have the conversations that you need to have with your kids. You're going to have the conversations that you need to have with your spouse. And you're going to have to tell them, we're going to be out of balance for a little while. We're going to be out of balance. I know that we're used to chilling on Saturdays because you see me go hard in the paint during the week. You know, I know I've been working my job, man, I got the weekend off. Oh, thank God it's Friday. No, hell no. It's not thank God it's Friday. It's thank God it's Friday, so you don't have to go put in them 8 to 10 hours building somebody else's dream, so that you can now focus on building yours even more so, because you should be doing it every single day. Every single day. You don't have time to play around with this. And guess what? I'm talking to myself first. My mouth is closer to my own ears. We don't have time, y'all. We can sit around and twiddle our thumbs and we can't. We can't. You have to look yourself in the mirror and go, what am I willing to sacrifice? If you're not willing to sacrifice some sleep, if you're not willing to sacrifice some cookouts, if you're not willing to sacrifice some game plan, if you're not willing to sacrifice some basketball games, some chilling with your girls, some, you know, couch potato crap, if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, even with spending time with your kids, because that's the reason that you need to be doing this. Because guess what? You sacrificing time with them anyway, because you on your job. And while you sacrificing the time with your kids, you making sure the owner of your job has plenty of time with his kids or her kids. So why in the world would you sacrifice your kids for their kids? Why would you sacrifice your future for their future? It makes no sense. Them people at work thought I had lost my ever-loving mind when I walked away from that job. The district manager literally told somebody, oh, she ain't gonna walk away. She ain't gonna walk away. Where's she gonna make this kind of money at? I was like, oh, you don't know me. You don't know me. And y'all know what? I sacrificed all that time, right? 12 to 15 hours a day. Guess what happened when I left them a year later? They went bankrupt, had to shut it down. I like to think I had something to do with that, but I really didn't. I'm not wishing anything on, but I'm just saying they had to shut it down. It took them about 2 to 3 years to regroup, reformulate, and reopen. Where would I have been if I would have walked away from building that network marketing company? Because they tried to get me to do that. They gave me a freaking ultimatum. They tried it. They tried it. And what if I would have sacrificed that, and then a year later they shut down? And a year later in my network marketing business, I was flying all around the world. I made 6 figures in my network marketing business. See, I sacrificed in my first network marketing company. I sacrificed. I love that network marketing. That gave me my love for it. And I sacrificed. Why? Because I was having some issues in my marriage. I sacrificed it. I drug all 5 of those kids to every event. Every event. My daughter was 4 years old. And we flew, we hopped. He worked for the airlines, and so it made it easier because we didn't have no money. All right. But really, you know, but my point is that I was in all these trainings. I fell in love with it. It was just, man, and it was causing some tension there in my marriage because our goals were not aligned. You know, he was doing a lot of this and I was putting into action. I got us to a pretty significant rank. And then me, you know, I was like, man, you know, oh, maybe, okay, maybe I'll just downplay. Let me play a little small so that he can be put up front. You know, let me just downplay what it is I want us to do. Let me just, you know, let me just be the little woman. Let me just be the little wife. And let me just, oh, I don't want to cause no ruckus. Man, that person's, I almost forgot where I was at, you know. And guess what? I'm divorced now. He still walked out. 25 years of marriage. Ain't no hard feelings. It's all good. We're friends. But I'm just saying, Andre, you saw where them lips was going, didn't you? You saw it. I forgot for a second. We recording too, God dog, you know? But my point is that I sacrificed way back then in the 90s because I was trying to appease someone else. See, a lot of times we think our spouse or significant other should have the same vision as we do. They can't have your vision because God put your vision in you. Now, it can be compatible and it can be in alignment, but it is not going to be the exact same thing. It's not going to be the exact same thing. And I'm not saying break up your household by no means necessary. Not saying that at all, but you do need to have that real talk about what it is you really want to have and where you really want to go in your life. And if they can get down with that, cool. If they can't, then they need to stay out your way. still be in the marriage, still be in a relationship, but they just need to stay out your way. Because if you decided to go to school to become a doctor and they didn't want to become a doctor, are you going to quit going to school because they didn't want to become a doctor? They want to infringe on your time for studying for the bar exam. Come on. What are we talking about? You know, so guys, listen. Man, I'm just looking over some of my notes here. I am going to go back to what I was saying, that literally you have to create your personal momentum. That's the only way that your team is going to do anything. And you know what? And even if your team doesn't, it's all good, because you are in control of your income. You can't look left, you can't look right, you can't look up, you can't look down. The only place you can look is straight ahead in the mirror at yourself. If you're not where you want to be, it's because of the things, the thoughts that you have and the words that are coming out of your mouth. That's the only thing that's stopping you. And that's so beautiful, because you're in control of it. Now you can release that it's the fault of the universe. You can release that it's the fault of your upline. You can release that it's the fault of your downline. You can release that it's the fault of the weather. You can release that it's the fault of, your backache, your stomach. You can release it all, because it's all you. And to me, that's the beauty of this. This is why I love network marketing so much, because it all depends on you. It don't matter about the customer service in the company. It don't matter if the cards get declined and this person, you couldn't get them in because they used the wrong card, or this card, well, you don't understand why this card, or they got trust and safety issues, and it don't matter. It don't matter that somebody came in and then they turned around and they quit. It don't matter. None of that matters. It don't matter if you blew an account. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters is what you're going to do right now. That's it. And like I was telling Andre about the flowers, we were having this conversation about flowers. And I said, one of my goals is to be able to have fresh flowers delivered to me every single day, not every day, every week. I love fresh flowers. I love them. And my daughter, for my birthday, one of the things she gave me was this big, beautiful bouquet of blue hydrangeas. Like, that's my favorite flower on the planet, hands down. I love hydrangeas. And it was a big, beautiful bouquet. And one of the things that I love about fresh flowers is because I like to challenge myself to see how long I can keep them alive. And so you just cut the stems and put fresh water in there. And I love it, because I usually keep them alive for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Now, my flowers are still alive now, as a matter of fact. And my birthday was the 6th of August. And so I was telling him how, I can't remember exactly how the conversation was going, and we'll wrap this up. I see we're going over time. But it's just like wherever you are in your business right now, you always get to begin again. You always get a fresh start. Like, so today, this moment, let it be your fresh start, but not be your fresh start just with your physical actions, because what you say to somebody doesn't matter. How many people you get on the appointments doesn't matter if the belief isn't there. Everything has to start with your beliefs. You'll figure out how. You don't have to write down what it was I said on, okay, no, what is it that you said to invite them? None of that crap matters. Because they're going to feel it and hear it in you. They're going to feel and hear that passion in you, because it's going to come from the inside. And so, like I said, just start today. Like, think about this for a second, really quickly. Randy and Wanda are in Vegas, having an incredible time. Okay, staying at the Bellagio, y'all. They're staying at the Bellagio. When they took that one picture and Wanda was there in the window and he was filming, and I was like, wait a minute, that's the fountains. That's the Ocean 12 fountains. That's the Ocean 11 movies fountain. They're at the Bellagio. What? Like, the Bellagio is a beautiful hotel. Like, just for them to be able to do that, and they still have an organization that's still going. That's so powerful. Like, put yourself, like go back and look at their videos and their pictures and take them out mentally and put yourself there. Maybe it's not Vegas for you, but wherever it is, insert yourself there, and then backtrack and ask yourself, are you willing to do the work that it takes? Because it all starts here mentally. So have a refresh, have a restart, do it. Put everything around you. So with these flowers, I was talking about how when you cut the stems on an angle and you refresh the water every 2 days, you pour out the water because it gets kind of funky looking. You just pour it out. You recut those stems. You pull off the dead leaves. You do the same thing in your business. You know, you cut off all them distractions, all them outside distractions, that TV show, that Netflix and chill, that Xbox, the couch stuff. You cut off from saying, oh, I'm tired when I get off work. Oh, I'm tired. I can't. Cut off those things. Cut off like you cut off that stem. You know, if you got people around you in your life that are dead, and I don't mean physically, of course, but they're just dead conversation, dead goals, dead. I don't care if it's people on your team. Pull them leaves off, cut them off just like you would with a stem of flowers. You know, pull the dead leaves off. You need a fresh start. You need a fresh stalk. Okay, and then you need to fill that pitcher up with some fresh cold water. All right, with your business, and you put them stems down in there. Now these stems are freshly cut. There's no dead leaves on them, and you put them in a fresh pitcher of cold water, and watch what happens to those blooms in a matter of hours. They come back to life full force, and you would have never thought that they were wilted just a few hours before. So that's what you have to do with your business. You got to cut off. You have to decide. Side means cut off. No choice. No choice. And if you haven't made that decision, if you have not made that decision, that's exactly why you are where you are right now. Forget I Am Academy for a second. Think about where you are in your life right now. Forget trading. Forget all of that. Where are you right now in your life? If this academy were to close down today and your phone was broken and you had no Wi-Fi, you had no way of being able to trade in the market, forget all of that. Where are you right now in your life? Are you happy where you are in your life? Are you happy with your health? Are you happy with your finances? Are you happy with your family relationships? Fix it. Fix it. Because you still have life. So fix it. If I'm 57 years old, thank you, God, and I still get to continue going after my mission and watching it come into fruition just thrills me. Where are you? Where are you? So guys, it's time to, just like Demita said, prune myself. Prune thyself. Okay? Create your own personal momentum. Don't worry about what somebody else is or isn't doing. And don't get fooled because you got a few people that come into your organization. Don't get fooled by that. Don't turn into that management mode, guys. That's pretty much it for me. I just want nothing but the best for each and every one of you. I want you, again, like I said, on Monday, make sure that you have called 10 people on your team and tell them the power of being on these mentorship calls on Monday morning. I want you on here with 10 people on your team. And if you don't have 10 people on your team, then you know what you need to do. Okay. The last thing I'll say before I let Andre go ahead and close this out, I appreciate you guys' extra time today. I know many of y'all had to get off because of work and things like that. We do have a large online event, okay? $24.95. Every single one of you need to have a ticket in it. Like that ain't even, that's not even an option. It's not even an option. It's a 3-day online event for $24.95 with the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, whether you're a student, whether you're building to residual income or whatever, you and your team, everybody needs to be on there. Like, that's just insane, absolutely insane. So Andre, like I said, that's all I have. Feel free to go ahead and close this bad boy out. We have been on here. It's almost 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. I do appreciate y'all's extra time on here. And guys, let's really just take this to a whole different level. Randy and Wanda have put so much time, energy, and effort into this team, into this organization. You know, they are pushing for Chairman 50. This is another reason why I love network marketing so much, is because when you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want by default. But you got to be a part of that. You got to be a big part of that, because your family is relying on you. Your family, your friends, all the people that you're trying to impress, all the people that you're trying to drag into here, all the people that you're trying to convince, they're looking at you. They're looking at you. So just go and do it. Just do it. Just play. What is it? Full out. Just go all in. Just see what happens over the next 30 days. Just do it. Just do it. That makes sense? Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Oh my God. All right, real quick. Everybody show some love for Sakinah. Give her some love in the chats. Throw some twos in the chats for Sakinah, please. Just give her some love. That was amazing. Absolutely on fire. I appreciate you so much. Woo! You did almost take me out though. I saw it. I saw what happened. I saw you. You almost took me. You caught yourself though. I was proud of you.
That was close.
That was close. All right, so listen real quick as we close this out, because I know everybody is we're pressed for time. So listen, what I want to challenge you guys to do is exactly what Sakinah said. Imagine if the 50 people who are on this call actually went out and said, we're going to develop personal momentum. Not for just 30 days, but let's just say we were going to push it to the end of the year. Imagine if we said, now you might go hard, like a serious, really burst, like Sakinah said, for those 30 days, but you made sure that you continue, that you maintain, that you continue to invite, that you continue to do the things that you had developed the habit for. Imagine where we would be as Legacy Worldwide. Imagine the impact. Imagine your business. Imagine what that group momentum would look like. Imagine just 50 people doing 20 people a day. That means there's 1,000 people a day that we're reaching out to as a team, as a group, as a collective. Imagine the impact that that's going to have, because when the group momentum kicks in, it also magnifies your personal momentum. See, your group momentum, anyway, I don't start. I'm not going to go ahead. I can go on for a whole nother talk. So let me stop right there. So just imagine if we did that, okay? So what I want to challenge you guys to do is not only launch yourself, to reset yourself going into this weekend. Not only to launch yourself, but I want to challenge you guys to stay so plugged in to the team, to your dream, to your vision. I want you to stick around long enough to see the success stories that happen right in front of your eyes. People who started after you, who are blowing by you. I want you to see the different stories of the impact and all this stuff. I want you to stay plugged in long enough, to stick around long enough, to come around the team long enough so that if you leave, it haunts you. Because right now, if I were to leave, I would be haunted. Every time I saw Sakinah, I would be, oh my God. Every time I saw, and that's where you want to be. You want to be in a place where this business will haunt you if you leave it, because I'm telling you, that gives you a position where you're ready to move, you're ready to do something. So last thing, what I want everybody to do is also, I hope you guys took a picture. This is my last request. Let's take 2 minutes. I hope y'all took a picture. I hope y'all took a video of Sakinah when she was talking. Okay, what I want to do, I want to challenge y'all, everybody who's on this call, I want you to go onto your Instagram. And what I want you to do is I want you to put maybe that one quote. If you didn't get a picture, put that one quote that she gave today that inspired you. I want you to be able to put whatever it is, and I want you to put hashtag, and I want you to tag her. I want her timeline to be filled up with 50 or 60 tags, 50 or 60 people, because normally there's about 4 people who do it consistently. Okay, Chairman Chuck, I see you, bro. Shout outs to you every time, right? Okay, so there's about 4 people who do it consistently. But see, you see what happens is we all know Sakinah. We all know that she's going chairwoman. We all know that she's our next chairwoman. We all know it. Who is there any doubt? We already know, right? But guess what? In her life, she still has doubters. And so what I'd like y'all to do is go turn her doubters into believers, because we all know who she is. We all know what she's about to do. So if y'all could do me a favor, because she dropped it. She gave us so much value, so many nuggets, came straight from her heart, talked about divorce, all kinds of, just ripped the band-aid open, said, listen, I'm gonna give. Go back and give to her. Let the people see that she's impacting people, that she's changing lives. Do that. I guarantee you it'll make a difference. Do it on her Facebook. Do it here, and it'll be absolutely amazing, all right? So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Let's get it. Listen, the weekend has just started. My daughter just woke up. That's right. She already lives a chairman lifestyle. I wish that we all could live that way. She's waking up at 10:30. But anyway, folks, let's go. Let's get it. I hope y'all have a good one.
Okay, y'all know how we close this out. I'm playing it on my phone, so I don't know if y'all can hear it real well.
Yeah, we got it.
Turn your cameras on. You guys take some videos. I know some of you aren't enabled to. Go ahead, Trader Migs. I see you, Miguel. Janita getting that hair done. Getting that hair did, huh? Hey, Cindy, I see you. Danita. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see who all is on here with the cameras on. April, thank you. We love you too.
So when you see me online, I'm having fun, trust, unjust situations make you want to gun bust.
Hey, y'all want to know something?
Pierre, always see you on here. Always, always see you on here. Love seeing your face on here.
Sakinah, you mentioned time. You want to know about time? They really don't know how little time they actually have. So the average person lives 75 years, right? Take out the first 18 years. I'll tell you after the song because it's good.
I can see the future. Legacy.
Think about your legacy, y'all.
I think I can feel my legacy.
Andrew, we appreciate you. Mr. Austin. Hey, Rodney. Come on, let me see you rocking that wavy beard. Go ahead. Chairman popped on here, Mr. Rodney Granberry. All right, y'all. Have a fantastic day. Let's go make it big, make it powerful.